for being here. Okay, well, I think we are going to track into our next guest. Paul Donovan is here. He's Chief Economist at UBS Global Wealth Management, joining me live for analysis on the economic implications of this election. Paul, it's great to have you here, and thanks so much for joining me. So, first of all, you've just heard there some of the manifesto being outlined by both Labour and the Conservatives here. The polling suggests that we are going to see a significant win for Keir Starmer here. He has called for 2.5% growth annually in his manifesto. Do you think he can get it?
Well, calling for growth and achieving growth are not, of course, exactly the same thing. And one of the problems that we have in the UK
Bingo.
is that in real time, we're tending to underestimate economic growth. So Keir may actually achieve 2.5% growth, but it'll take 5 years until we know it. I think, in fact, the UK can achieve a reasonable rate of growth, but partly that's going to depend on what levels of immigration are allowed to continue. Immigration is a big driver of economic growth, and it's also been a contentious issue in politics over the course of the last few years. So if we continue to see sort of similar levels of immigration to that which we have seen, if we see investments and productivity gains which come from immigration and from investment, then maybe a 2% rate of growth is achievable. 2.5% is probably aspirational, let us say.
So what else in the UK Labour manifesto is going to improve growth and productivity in the long term?
Well, I think aside from perhaps a greater flexibility around things like student visas, there is the possibility of at least a better tone to relations with Europe. I think, although the Labour Party is not necessarily more pro-Europe than the Conservative Party, the fact that the Conservatives took the UK out of Europe has somewhat soured negotiations. Now, I don't think we should be over-aspirational about what Labour is going to achieve. They're not going to re-enter the EU or anything like that. But I think that we can see some of the irritations, some of the unnecessary complications be softened, and that too will be potentially quite helpful. I think that the Labour Party does have a bit more of a focus on higher education, which is a strong export for the UK in its own right, but also is something which can fuel innovation, thought leadership and so on. And that too, I think, is going to be a helpful aspect, potentially not in the short term, but over the medium term.